Hi guys, we're going to be starting algebra. We're going to start chapter 1, 1.1. In your notes, you're going to write down section 1.1, and then underneath that, you're going to write down some vocabulary. You do not need to write down the objective. Underneath the word vocabulary, you're going to write down our first vocabulary word. You should be familiar with this. It's a variable. And a variable is a placeholder for any value. Usually, we use a letter. Now, typical letters that you're going to see in algebra, I'm just grabbing a pen here, will be X or Y, sometimes Z as well. But you got to be careful with Z because it looks like a 2, or L because it looks like a 1. Some of you, the letter S ends up looking like a 5. So we try to stick with these 3 letters as our general letters. We also use the letter N a bunch of times. But those are variables. The next vocabulary term that you need to know for this lesson is an algebraic expression. An algebraic expression contains numbers, operations, and variables. An example of an algebraic expression would be x plus 2. Has a variable, has an operation, and it has a number. It could be 3x minus 1. It could be 2x divided by 5. All of these are algebraic expressions. Okay, so now in your notes right now, you should have both of these vocabulary terms written down, as well as their examples. Now we're going to do a little bit more notes, do a few more examples, and then that'll be it. So now, underneath your vocabulary, you're going to write down translating phrases into expressions. You're going to write down this title, and then we're going to write down the 4 types of operations, and I'm going to give you vocabulary that we use for the words addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Again, this should be somewhat of a review. The word addition, meaning to add, we use words like more or plus or increased by, some, or more than. So you're going to write all those down because what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an English sentence and you're going to translate it to math, to an algebraic expression. Subtraction, moving on over to the orange side, we have less than, decreased by, this word kind of got cut off, I'll drag it over here. Difference, less than, and minus. Okay, so we have 5 words for subtraction. We have 5 words for addition. Multiplication and division each have 2 words. Multiplication, 2 words that also mean multiplication, would be times or product. And for division, this came back with us. 2 words for division, let me just delete it, are divided and quotient. So let's do some examples. Now remember, you can pause me if I'm going a little too fast, and you can write down those notes. Okay, so you're going to write down the word examples. You do not have to write down the directions. You do need to write down the examples, though, and do them with me. All right, so number 1, 35 more than the number of tickets sold. Now this word, I see the words more than. And more than and less than, you should have a star next to or kind of flag that in your head, because more than and less than will switch the order. More than means plus, less than means minus. But more than, so I'm going to see the plus sign. But what I mean by switch the order is that the 35 is going to go after it, and the number of tickets sold is going to go on the other side over here. So to write the number of tickets sold, I'm going to use N for the number of tickets sold plus 35. Most times you're going to translate from left to right. 35 will go first, and then plus, and then number of tickets. However, the more than makes you switch the order. Same thing with less than. Other than that, you keep everything else the same. So let's look at number 2. 6 less. Less to me means subtraction. Now notice it doesn't say less than, it says less. So I know it means subtraction. 6 subtract, that's where the minus sign there, a number y, and they tell us they want us to use the variable y. So 6 minus y. Okay, let's try a couple more. Number 3, 6 less than. There's the less than again, which means minus, but I know that this 6 is going to go on the other side. A number y. So 6 less than a number y, very similar to number 2, except number 2 doesn't have then. Okay, so number 3 says 6 less than a number y, which means you're going to have to switch the order then. Y, take away 6. This will mean different results depending on what y is. You will get different answers if you translate it incorrectly. So make sure you're following along with the little rules. Number 4, the difference. Difference also means subtraction. We want to subtract two things, something and something. The difference of 6 times a number, and that's where your subtraction sign is going to go, 10. 6 times a number, 6n, minus 10. Okay, so now we're going to go the other direction, meaning I'm going to give you math, and you're going to translate it into words. So you're going to give me the words back. There are going to be several ways to do this. You're going to look for the operation. You're going to translate it how you like. So number 5, I see an addition sign. I can write x, probably the easiest one, plus 8.1. You could write 8.1 more than x. More than, notice how I had to switch the order then. I had to put 8.1 first because I said more than. You can use any of the words that we put earlier in our notes. Increased by. The sum of x and 8.1. Okay, next one, number 6, 5n. So 5 times n, 5 times n. You could also say the product of 5 and n. And then I have minus 1. You could also write less. Let me undo some of that's kind of gelling together there. Okay. All right, we have one more type of example, and then we are done with this video. The last problem. Please write down the blue here. It says writing an algebraic expression from a table. And I want you to write the blue of the table as well. I'm going to slide the screen over so you can see it. Let's just read the words over here in black first. It says the table shows how the cost of renting a scooter depends on how long the scooter is rented. What is the rule for the total cost? So we're going to look at our table and see if we can come up with an algebraic expression. And here's our table. That's what I would like you to write down in blue. So for 1 hour, it costs $17.50. For 2 hours, it's $25. For 3 hours of renting the scooter, it's $32.50. 4 hours is $40, and 5 hours is $47.50. When you have a table, you want to start looking to see what's going on with the increases. Well, as I jump down here on the left side, all the hours are going up by 1. Okay, so nothing's changing there. Here, each hour that I go up, it seems like it's going up $7.50. If I add another $7.50 here, I'll get the $32.50. Another $7.50, and so on. So I know it's going up by $7.50 each hour. So if you can say something's going up continually each of something, that's where your variable is going to come in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write $7.50 times each hour. So if I rent the bike for 1 hour, that would mean if I just left it what I have right now, that would mean it would charge $7.50. But for 1 hour, I'm being charged $17.50. I'm off by $10. If I did 2 times $7.50 for 2 hours times $7.50, I would get $15. Again, I'm off by $10. So I know I have to add $10 to my expression. And that will help me figure out how much it will cost for however many hours. And this is the expression answer we're looking for. All right, we'll practice more. Those are the hard ones. We will practice more in class. Have a good one.